EA Sports just announced everything from the first tournaments, the first objectives, the first evolutions, and it tells you exactly what people are going to need to buy for their teams, and in turn, exactly what the early investors are going to need to buy to make the most coins. So today, we're going to talk about how these new announcements are going to shape which cards we invest in at the beginning of FC26. Speaking of investments, I've already had a few messages about when next level foot trading is dropping for FC26. It is here. This is a live trading service that tells you what to buy, when to buy it, what to buy it for to make you a bunch of coins in FC26. It is run by the greatest trader of all time, Fut Peppy. He had 15 million coins in this team by November last year for reference. And right now you guys can get involved with the early bird special, 2 weeks for €5 to get started, or you can do a full year of FC26 for €99. And do note that the annual pass will go up in price significantly once the actual game comes out, so make sure to get involved before it's too late. Today we're talking about the pitch notes, but we're also talking about some leaks that the community has found in the code, and we'll get to those in a moment. But I'm not just going to read you the pitch notes. That's boring. It's also, a lot of you have already seen them, and a lot of you probably don't care. What we're talking about the pitch notes today for is because there's information in here that is going to affect who we invest in, but especially when we make our investments for FC26. And making coins at the beginning of the year is very, very important. So let's talk about early access and what we're going to get during early access. So we're going to get Team of the Week 1 and 2, evolutions, some squad foundations, and then SBCs like flashbacks and showdowns, season points. But we're not going to get a promo, which is important because if cards went out of packs on the Friday when Ultimate Edition released, that means the gold cards that were in packs during webapp between Wednesday and Thursday would be super, super rare in great investments. However, that's not happening. Instead, Team of the Week 2 is what we've got to be looking at, because Team of the Week 2 is going to include a lot of cards that have only been in packs for a couple of days. Let's say Rafael Leao on Saturday next week, or yeah, it'd be next weekend, this upcoming weekend. Today is Saturday. So yeah, this upcoming weekend, you guys get what I'm saying. He scores 2 goals for Milan. He might get into that Team of the Week 2 that upcoming Wednesday, which means that that gold card is going to rise for 2 reasons. 1, the hype of getting into Team of the Week, the speculation. And then 2, if he actually does get into the Team of the Week, then that card is going to be absolutely crushed of supply. There's going to be no supply of that gold card for an entire week. This early in the year, that makes a big difference because the supply is gone, but the demand is still there. That is going to skyrocket in price, right? So that is what we've got to keep our focus on with our first big investments. But that's after the Ultimate Edition actually comes out. Let's talk about day 1, hour 1, week 1, returning player rewards. This is what EA Sports say. We want returning players to feel welcome back. Eligible players coming from FC25. So if you played FC25 and you're eligible, which I don't know the information on that, but I'd say if you played that at all, I think you're going to get some welcome backpacks. As long as you played it after probably the first week or maybe at any point during 2025. I don't know what eligible means, but most people will end up getting their welcome backpacks. I've never really seen too many people complain about like missing welcome backpacks in the past. That's something EA Sports have gotten right. However, the way that they word this makes me think they're probably going to make these welcome backpacks untradeable, because it says they want the players to receive early rewards to curate a squad and complete SBCs. Doesn't say anything about helping your coin total, doesn't say anything about the transfer market. It makes me think the welcome backpacks that you will get are going to be untradeable. Now, if we do get marquee matchups on Thursday, then those welcome backpack cards will go into marquee matchups, and then that will provide some tradable cards onto the market. It'll really, really get the market moving. But there's another way to get some extra rewards, which is through EA Play, a welcome pack with 385 overall lone player picks, and you get them for 10 matches each. It's pretty significant, actually. I mean, that is very, very OP if that comes at the very beginning of the game. And given the fact that it's a welcome pack, I believe that is going to be pretty OP at the very beginning. And it also includes 1 foot draft token, which is 300 FC points, right? So 300 FC points, that's a couple of extra packs for you, depending on how many games you do go into that foot draft. That is kind of significant. So I pulled up EA Play, and it is $6. So it's double the price of what a foot draft would normally be. However, I also asked ChatGPT if you can cancel EA Play and get your money back. It said yes, as long as you cancel it within 14 days. Now, if ChatGPT is wrong, I apologize. I don't feel that bad about canceling it, though. because it is EA. That's a free foot draft. That's some free 10-match loans right there. And all you have to do is have it active between September 18th and October 30th. I might try it. Now, remember how we talked about the World Tour just very briefly at the beginning of the video? That's actually going to come back and be the main topic of today, because we're going to get live events during this early access, including a daily knockout tournament, which it says they're going to refresh every day, allowing the winners to re-enter the next day 5 times during the week. And as long as you win one of the tournaments, which you would have to win 4 games, similar to like a foot draft, except for it's your team, you will qualify for a one-time early access finale tournament on the final day of early access. That means that starting on Friday, or really, like, depending on your time zone, could be Thursday, because a lot of the people in New Zealand and Australia and Kiribati and all of those countries are going to get that game first. They're going to start making their starter squads in participating in the daily knockout tournament right away. This is the earliest that we've ever had to build starter squads in the game, which is going to have a significant impact on the quick rise on the market. And on top of that, since this is considered a live event, the World Tour objectives that we were just talking about, they're also leaked. So everybody's going to be looking to combining and getting these objectives done while competing in that knockout tournament. And here's what we know. Eusebio is going to be one of the cards that you can get. Now, these are only silvers, but of course, they're probably going to be incredible with the Evos throughout the year. And so people are probably going to end up doing them. Now, it is a good silver card, but I mean, you look at those stats, it's 1 stat above 76. It's not a good card. It's not a long-term usable card, but given the fact that the icons normally have good in-game animations and the fact that they can be evoed, might actually make scoring a goal in 100 separate squad battle matches or rivals champs / live events right there. You see that using a Portuguese player, maybe a little bit more popular. Now, you can also do it with Garrincha, Bobby Moore, Lev Yashin, or Bobby Charlton. Those are all of the cards that are in this objective, and they all have different things. But here are the tasks, and shout out to Trading Eye. I've shouted him out in a couple of videos before. This guy's the GOAT. He has kind of laid out the best way to actually get these objectives done. So you would need to score in 100 matches with a Portuguese player, 15 matches with a Brazilian player, which makes me think that one's going to be a little bit more popular. 15 matches is much more doable than 100. I mean, that's a lot of games, and I just have absolutely no desire to play 100 squad battle matches. But unless I already have a good Portuguese striker, playing 100 matches and scoring in 100 matches with a Portuguese striker is also very, very difficult. So what I did was I went out and I kind of put together some of the more popular starter Portuguese players that I might expect to be in teams. So if you wanted to play 100 games with 6 Portuguese players, a lot of people might choose these 6 Portuguese players to do it with, like Rafael Leao, Ronaldo, Pedro Neto, João Neves, Nuno Mendes, Diogo Dalot. All of those players might be popular because of their stats and their rating. Obviously, Nuno Mendes is going to be very expensive. Leao will probably be pretty expensive. But given the fact that you also just need to score 100 goals, so you only need 1 like forward Portuguese players, I'm looking at a card like Pedro Neto, and I'm looking at a card like Rafael Leao, and I'm saying, wow, that card's already a good investment. I think it's going to be even better now because of this objective that we've seen with the release of the Eusebio objective. And then for Garrincha, which again, probably going to be more popular than what we saw with the Portuguese because it's 15 games rather than 100. Well, you look at cards like Savinho, might end up being really, really good investment, or Rodrigo, who might be a little bit more expensive, or if you really want to budget but might have some impact, Malcolm could be a card that goes up because he can play right mid, left mid, or cam. But I do think that the strikers or wingers are probably going to be more prominent, and you can probably combine them together. So you could have a Portuguese forward, a Brazilian forward, and then you could also maybe combine the silver players with it. However, that is going to create demand, and the demand is what drives these prices up. So the combination of these objectives and people needing their starter teams right away, it makes it so investing in these cards as soon as possible on the web app is the goal. And that's going to end up making us so many coins. So here's the idea, and drop a like if this video has helped you out. But once we get supply, whether it be from marquee matchups on Thursday or we wait until those 2,000 FC points on Friday, but when that supply hits, the idea is to buy the cards like Rodrigo and Savinho and Leao, maybe even a Pedro Neto as soon as we possibly can, because those investments investments are already good investments by every criteria, but now there's another reason for them to go up in price, making our investments even better. All of this information combined with the web app trading method and the early access trading methods I've talked about in the last videos are going to make us absolute bank. And don't forget to join the early access live trading service, €5 to get in for 2 weeks, less than €100 for the entire year. Link is at the top of the description. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.